A number of creative businesses have been harmed by the wide-ranging sell-off in the tech industry. One such name was the luxury EV manufacturer Lucid Group. That's why a 3 to 5 year view is highly advised for most long-term growth investments, since these sorts of businesses need significant time to develop and prosper. It'll only be a matter of time until Lucid Motors has worked its way up to the top of the electric vehicle food chain. Therefore, this year will be dedicated to laying the foundations for the long term. And here is why 2022 could be a huge year for the Californian startup. Welcome back to New Vehicle Media, your go-to channel for EV stock. Quick reminder that subscribing's free and liking the video helps YouTube suggest similar content. Comments are loved and featured in our upcoming videos. First and foremost, the expansion projects. Lucid has sufficient money to support its anticipated manufacturing and delivery ramp-up in the coming years. The business closed off the third quarter with $4.8 billion in cash, but afterwards, it raised an additional $2 billion through a senior note offering. This undoubtedly makes Lucid one of the most financially flexible electric vehicle firms, having generated a cash balance of more than $6.8 billion. In terms of international growth, the business sought to create operations in a number of countries other than its native market of the US. For example, the business plans to enter the very profitable Chinese market, which has some of the world's highest rates of electric vehicle adoption. That is hardly shocking, particularly when you consider that the Chinese government intends to electrify around 20% of all autos sold in the country over the next 2 years. However, that is some time after the year 2022. Europe, on the other hand, is not. Lucid has also shown tremendous promise in the European market. Germany alone saw an increase of 83% in battery electric vehicle sales in 2021. By this statistic, electric car purchases accounted for a significant share of new vehicle sales in the nation last year. If Lucid makes a move into the rapidly expanding European market, this might serve to strengthen the bull case for the company's stock even more. Perhaps that is exactly what they're seeking to do. For the business, this year is more about execution than anything else. Lucid will be focused on nailing its flagship Air sedan's initial deliveries. It'll also be seeking to boost production output and capture more market share in the near future. Investors, on the other hand, will want to keep an eye on the company's potential to meet its stated goals. The startup reported a significant increase in air reservations in the last quarter. To be more specific, reservations climbed by more than 4,000 from the September quarter, reaching 17,000 by the middle of the November quarter. Another major catalyst for the company and LCID stock will be management's restatement of its 2022 production projection of around 20,000 deliveries. Any improvements to the company's reservation numbers will most definitely help increase investor trust. On top of this, the upcoming earnings call could perhaps touch on the company's progress concerning its DreamDrive advanced driver assistance system and the most awaited Gravity SUV. Considering the Air's robust range of capabilities, investors will also be looking for similar details with the Gravity regarding performance, charging time, and other related elements. The Lucid Air, which is the company's first ever production vehicle, has received overwhelmingly good reviews and ratings. The dangers associated with increasing production numbers, as well as attempting to become more popular with customers, on the other hand, remains considerable. This might have a huge impact on growth. All things considered, investors will be keeping a close watch on Lucid's performance over the next few months. The massive $2 billion capital round indicates that even more capital investments will be made in the future. This year, if the firm achieves its goals, which include quickening its growth desires, the stock of LCID Corporation might be a huge winner for investors. Furthermore, The introduction of the firm's new models may herald the beginning of a new age of development for the corporation as it expands into new markets. Thus, the recent downturn is a great chance to stock up on the stock. Finally, the last ace in the hole is the Saudi Arabian market, which has shown the potential to be very profitable. That's why the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia has made significant investments in the business. Lucid has also shown a lot of interest in building a production facility in the region. That should fuel future growth. But it wasn't that easy. Since the startup went public, the majority of investors had their calendars marked to January 19, 2022. That was the date that the largest Lucid shareholder, the PIF, were going to unlock to sell in the open market. We've seen a fairly constant decline for LCID shares since the PIF lockup expired, trading around $40 1 week before the lockup to nearly $25 after the lockup. Even though the PIF does not seem to have sold their LCID stock, rather, it seemed that they've maintained their position or ownership in the Californian startup. Matter of fact, in order to support their state fund, they've sold an oil interest worth $80 billion. Clearly, the PIF sees the future and recognizes that the renewable energy business will grow to be a massive total target market in the not-too-distant future. This and everything we talked about will be clarified in the next earnings call and filing of the 13F. There is widespread delight at the prospect that PIF did not sell their shares, since this would have suggested that something had gone wrong for Lucid. The fact that the PIF is transitioning its assets from Aramco, the oil giant, to the state fund is encouraging for the electric car sector and most definitely Lucid's 2022 outlook. The PIF may have missed out on the Tesla gain train. The decisions from their end shows that they will not miss out on the Lucid gains. The startup has a promising future ahead of it, and this year will be a critical one in helping the firm expand and establish itself as a household name. For Rawlinson's business, it's all about getting things done now, and they've already delivered on their promises multiple times. The next time Lucid will be able to cross another item off its to-do list is when they'll have its next earnings call, during which the company will provide details on the company's Q4 delivery figures. This is a big deal for short-term traders and how the LCID will perform in the near term, but this has little to do with Lucid's goals for the next 5 years and beyond. The business is more concerned about the future than it is with the present. This is especially evident in the case of Peter Rawlinson, who does not receive a salary and is entirely compensated depending on stock performance. Similar to what Elon Musk does for his companies. Despite the fact that experts predict Lucid Motors will have a solid earnings call and that it will have met its delivery objectives, this doesn't rule out how important this building block will be for this year and years to come. But as always, I'm interested in hearing what you have to say. What are your thoughts on Lucid's 2022 outlook? Let us know in the comments section below. DZ says he'll be investing in Lucid for the long term. He loves the Air sedan and says that Rawlinson is a beast. That should wrap things up for today. Keep in mind that subscribing's still free and liking helps YouTube recognize your preferences. Thanks for taking the time to watch, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.